Hi, my name is Zul and I am journalist here at Data Storage ASEAN. Today I am very pleased to be speaking with the head of customer engagement from ISS Data, Mr. Pohlim Koo. To give you a bit of a background, ISS Data is a management and technology consulting company that is helping organizations digitally transform. And as a certified SAP partner, ISS Data is committed to understanding customers' business and has strived to maximize the value of SAP for customers. With that being said, Mr. Koo, it is great to have you here with us. So to start off with the interview, can you tell us a bit about ISS Data's history and future as well?
Okay. Our history and future. So I start with our history. ISS Data was formed as a result of a management buyout of ISS Consulting in Singapore back in 2017. We later became known as ISS Data after completion of the management buyout. But our history goes way back to 1998, where we first started as an SAP partner providing classic ERP solutions. And over the last 23 years, we have been able to expand our solution offerings to now include the SAP Business by Design. We have always been focused only on SAP technologies and SAP solutions, right? And over the many years of providing SAP solutions and being an SAP partner, we have built strong competencies in SAP solutions, especially in Business by Design, for our customers in manufacturing, distribution, and energy. Where we see ourselves going, right, by design is our growth driver, right? And we see a future where ISS Data champions the adoption of SAP intelligent cloud technologies to help small and medium-sized enterprises transform their business.
Thanks for that, Koo. We know that ISS Data is the leading SAP ByDesign enabler in Singapore. So can you tell us a bit more about this solution and how ISS has become such a leader in ByDesign implementations?
Yeah, sure. ByDesign is a pure cloud ERP or software as a service solution developed from the ground up by SAP, and it was first released back in 2007. It is an end-to-end ERP suite which provides all the necessary business processes for a company to run its business. To elaborate, Business by Design has 39 business processes ready to use out of the box, which should sufficiently cover all business scenarios relevant to SMEs. Okay. These business scenarios or business processes are based on industry best practices derived by SAP in their 49 years of providing ERP solutions. Okay. So ISS started our ByDesign practice very early on in 2016, when it was relatively new in this region. Our head start has allowed us to build deep capabilities in ByDesign, where we are now able to provide solutions for complex requirements. Our experience and capabilities have allowed us to come up with industry-specific solutions in manufacturing, distribution, and energy. And we have some of the most experienced consultants, with some of them having over 10 years of ByDesign experience specifically. And we have implemented more than 10 projects across the region since 2016. Because of our track record, we were awarded Strategic Partner of the Year by SAP in 2020.
That is actually very interesting indeed. You mentioned how this solution provides organizations with the necessary capabilities to enable their business to scale and compete without the complexity and costs. And I believe these are indeed critical, especially for businesses that are looking to stay resilient amidst the challenges of the pandemic. So, as the economy reopens, how is ISS helping customers with SAP Business by Design to ready themselves for whatever the new Singapore normal will be?
Well, the push for digitalization has been accelerated by COVID-19, right, which has affected every facet of our lives. Companies previously believed they had time to transform their business, right, as they were already running some form of classic ERP, right, and with other various systems existing side by side on a standalone basis, right. Um, and because of the disparate nature of their setup, right, they were still relying on many manual processes, right. With the advent of work from home situation, companies realized their manual processes from the standalone systems were no longer able to meet the demands exerted by external factors on their business. For example, month-end closing, where every department had to close before finance can complete their part. Right, the coordination for month-end closing was too time-consuming and error-prone because information resided in disparate or different databases, right? And pulling such data for reporting required, the participation and the effort of a large team. Right? We have been able to help our customers transform their business with ByDesign, where we introduce predefined business processes that would intelligently automate month-end closing tasks, right? What used to take weeks can now be completed in a matter of days.
All right, that's actually a really good point that you made there. In this new work environment, it's all about speed, right? And there's this new sense of urgency for companies to accelerate their business processes, to drive operational efficiency and improve their customer experience. However, businesses in Singapore that are faced with skills and resource shortages, especially in these trying times, won't be able to achieve such goals easily. So, is that an area where you have been able to help your clients?
Right. We like to think so, right? We like to think that we've been able to help our customers, right? Businesses are trying to pivot to remove silos or barriers that impede the flow of information, right? And the smooth running of the operations, right? So, be it current manual processes which require more manpower or high dependence of experienced manpower, right? That whole intrinsic knowledge of the operations. But this knowledge are not captured in any knowledge management system, right? So there are many such situations where a process of a company resides, right, within within an employee, right? It's not in a system. It's not documented, and neither rarely is it documented, right? And it's usually not enforced through a system, right? So it is actually in a human being, right? So that's what it means by having to rely on experienced staff, right? Many companies realize this, right? They realize that they are dependent on highly experienced people, right? And sometimes it would be, an impact to their business if this experienced staff were to leave, right? They realize this, but they are unsure of how to automate and how to retain such knowledge in the business. Okay. We have been able to help our customers, right, discover new ways to operate, which reduces manual work or manual intervention and the dependence of experienced staff, and dependence of the intrinsic knowledge, right, of the business process and also of the company policies, right? Because now we are able to capture all this and enforce the rules, right, in ByDesign, right? What does this mean? Well, this means that companies who've implemented by design can look at experienced staff and redeploy them or even promote them, right, to higher value added activities like business management or looking at the business data for analysis, right, to run or to have some capability to predict, right, issues, right, or even using experienced staff to train new staff, right. So the time that they get, they can now put into training, right. And in some cases, some of this stuff can also be used to look at troubleshooting areas of the business that could probably need more improvement, right. So all these are value added activities, right, that they can get, right, from automating and from capturing the knowledge in by design.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. Automation is the key in addressing skills and resource shortages. But its role is so much more than that, though. We increasingly hear about how automation is critical to companies' modernization. So, why is that? And is this an area where ISS can help?
Right. Of course, I think we would like to think that we are able to help, right? Companies everywhere must find ways to automate, right? Manual tasks, right, whether data entry, preparing reports, doing demand and supply planning, warehouse and logistics management, right, are time-consuming tasks and they are susceptible to mistakes, right? So an ERP that automates, right, the creation of orders or reports, or an ERP that intelligently triggers an alert if an anomaly is detected, right, will minimize, right, or even eliminate such issues, right. So we help companies transform, right, by implementing the state-of-the-art business processes that are already built into by design, right. And by design will enable our customers, right, to practice new ways of running their business.
Yeah, that is actually very interesting that you say that, because even though we often talk about the tremendous benefits that technologies can bring, there will always be concerns from companies when it comes to implementing them. If we talk about ERP specifically, what advice do you have for companies who are worried that implementing an ERP solution will be too much work or too expensive?
Okay, that's an interesting question, actually. Implementing by design will, of course, require the participation of our customers, right, as they know their business best. Okay. However, the notion that implementing by design is expensive has to be weighed against the benefits of by design and the total cost of ownership. I think that's also important, right? They should look at it that way, right? One unique advantage of by design is that SAP takes care for the customers, right? Every aspect of running an ERP, right? So what does that mean? It means that there is no need for customers to think about infrastructure, storage, backups, security, redundancy, or even hosting. All of these are provided by SAP to by design customers. So the time, effort, and cost spent over a 5-year period or a projected 5-year period is significantly lower than managing a system on your own. Another unique advantage is by design has 39 business processes built in. I think we mentioned this earlier, right? So by having 39 business processes already built in, will compress the implementation time and effort significantly compared to implementing a conventional ERP, as there is no need to recreate business processes, right? So basically, the 39 are ready to use. The 39 processes are ready to use, and we can pick, those that are most relevant to our customers and implement them for them, right? So business processes, workflows, and business rules, right, can be defined in ByDesign, and there's no need to do that from scratch, right, when we implement ByDesign. Okay, so because of that, right, ByDesign can be implemented quickly, right, and faster than a conventional ERP, right, and we can implement ByDesign in weeks instead of months. Okay. The approach we use in implementation will map out the detailed activities to be performed by both the customer and by ISS Data. This way, our customers will know ahead of time their level of involvement, right? And they adjust their work schedules accordingly, right? To accommodate the project, the implementation project as well. So when they have, or when with this approach, right, we are able to usually help our customers, plan, and when they have this planning, they're able to balance out the workload, right, for our customers. So it's not going to be overly time consuming or overly keep them too busy, right, when implementing ByDesign.
Thank you so much for that, Koo. Thank you for actually sharing your knowledge and insights towards about this topic. And I also want to share my gratitude towards you for actually taking the time to do this interview with us. So once again, thank you so much for that, Koo. So I really hope this interview will be beneficial for companies that are looking to modernize and undergo a lasting and successful business transformation. I really appreciate your time, and I want to thank you again for joining us. It was a fascinating discussion, so stay safe and we hope to see you again in the future.